This one is a shocker to me. Doc, I'm gonna let you jump off with this one. The Colts. Okay, we know Anthony Richardson, and how he looked because we talked about this already, right? About what Anthony Richardson looked like in that first preseason game. But this to me, it just really just took me by surprise because I didn't, I was not expecting this. But Doc, go ahead, just lay this out for us. Lay this out. What's going on with the Colts, man?
So Daniel Jones, aka Danny Dimes, is now the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts going into the 2025 season. All right.
Oh boy.
And probably in the off season, definitely started like training camp, preseason game one. It's like, yeah, I think Daniel Jones is going to end up, he's going to start at some point during the year, if not start the first game outright. So let's set the situation. Don't forget, he was up after he got released by the Giants. He was in Minnesota. Minnesota kicked the tires with him, but he gets to kick the tires in Minnesota. So season ends, Sam Darnold leaves. He gets to compete against J.J. McCarthy, right? Does he want to stay there and compete against J.J. McCarthy? I just say this like, they probably looking to start J.J. McCarthy. I don't want to back up the guy 5 years younger than me, right? What are my options? Like, what's the landscape look like, right? So you take a look at Indianapolis. They've got a quarterback, starting quarterback 2 years in, still struggling, right? And he ends up being injury prone. So it's like, hey, let me go to Indy with an offensive minded head coach, right? And worst case scenario, Richardson gets hurt sometime during the season. I get to start. But if he struggles, then because the pressure's starting to build on Steichen, he may just end up starting me outright, right?
Yeah.
So now he's down there in Indianapolis, and we all saw what happened was at first Richardson's first play, right? The rush comes, everyone's like, "Hey, that's the quarterback's read. That's not the running back. That's not the right tackle." He gets blown up, dislocates his pinky. Thankfully, he ain't missed too much time, right? But it's like you in year three, and you're still seemingly missing reads and concepts because he didn't even look to the right side on that play. So when I saw that, I was like, man, Daniel Jones is a lot smarter than I thought because he was like, hey, let me go to Indy and take my chances, and the payoff, the risk, the bet paid off because now he's going to be starting week one in Indianapolis. And as long as he plays decent, I ain't saying amazing, decent, I don't think Anthony Richardson's going to get that job back. Now, if he stinks up the joint, they're going to put Richardson in one more time and give him one more chance to show himself. But for now, he's the starter, and your boy's like, yeah, I don't. Essentially, he's going to give Daniel Jones a long leash. This is not going to be you threw two picks. I throw Richardson in there for next week. Like, I want some stability. So going forward, he's the starter, and then we'll kind of see what happens with Anthony Richardson during the season. So, but yeah, he picked right. He picked the team where that quarterback and that quarterback situation was probably the least solid out of all the starting quarterback situations in the league, right? So that's where he went. He didn't go where there was a rookie becoming a second year. He went where there was a second year guy becoming a third year. But just figured based upon what was going on, there's a good chance I'll start for that team either outright or during the season. So yeah, so I got to give Daniel Jones some credit for that.
What you got, Lee?
It wasn't much of a surprise for me. I when Doc and I talked about this weeks ago when Danny Dimes, Danny Dimes, when he made the move, which I think I'll give the credit to his agent more so than him. I think his agent probably said, "Hey, this is your best spot." I mean, the agent got to get paid too, right?
Right.
Um, and it was a good landing spot for him, and it seems to be paying off at least in this beginning stages. We don't know how the first couple of weeks are going to go. I have no faith that Daniel Jones is going to have a great season, and he probably won't keep the starting position. I think before it's all said and done, by the end of this season, we're going to see Leonard Riley starting a game for the Colts this season. Okay, that's my prediction. Riley's going to be in there for a couple coming towards the end of the season. But that being said, man, Lynx, your boy Steichen, he coaching for his life this year. He coaching for his life this year. Like, if he don't get this right, if they don't show some glimmer, he's out.
Yeah.
And he can't afford to be out, especially with the next crop of quarterbacks coming up next season.
Yeah.
Now, what I find very interesting And what made me laughing is an understatement. I couldn't even believe what I was reading. But when the news came out, Anthony his agent put out a statement. One of the quotes from the statement says trust is a big factor, and that is at best questionable right now. Anthony came back and made improvements in areas he needed to improve. That's what his agent said. I want to know what improvements he made. I don't know what he's talking about, right? So you got Anthony Richards, who career-wise, I know he only played like 2 seasons, and of those 2 seasons, he barely played 50% of the games. But his completion percentage is 50%. 50%. That's beyond deplorable for starting quarterback in the NFL. If you're like 60% is low, but he's at 50%. Last season, I believe he threw more interceptions than touchdowns, right? He had 11 touchdowns. This is passing. I'm not counting the rushing.
Right.
But he had 11 passing touchdowns and 13 interceptions. Okay. 2,391 yards, playing 15 games. What I want to know is what improvements did he make? If he's trying to say that he made improvements this offseason going into this preseason, I didn't see it. He can't even detect the free man off the line of scrimmage. He can't detect the blitz. He can't protect himself. So I think at this point, Steichen is like, look, talk about trust. I'm trusting you to help me keep my job. And I don't think you're going to do it. Bring in Daniel Jones. I didn't think Daniel Jones was a good backup plan to start with from the Colts. So I got to look at Chris Ballard, their GM, and be like, what were you thinking? Why didn't you guys go after Sam Darnold? Right? That might have been a good pickup. But I think, again, they did draft Leonard Riley, and I think Leonard Riley is more than likely going to see some playing time this season.
Yeah. I got to share this real quick. You see what's on my paper right here? You probably can't see it, right? You probably can't see it. Steichen getting fired. That's what I put on the paper. Steichen getting fired.
Yeah.
That's it. You bring in Daniel Jones. You had Anthony Richardson, which you already seen. You said, Lee, what changes have you made? Then you bring in Daniel Jones, who is not going to do anything. Luckily, you got your rookie in there that could possibly grow into being the quarterback for that team. Maybe. But Steichen, you are right, he's playing for his life, and he is going to get fired. Because that don't make any sense whatsoever. You had all this time, and this the best you could come up with?
Realize Jim Irsay, may he rest in peace, is no longer owner of the Indianapolis Colts. The 3 daughters are now the new owner, right?
True. Yeah.
So it's the same last name, at least from the maiden name, but it's new ownership.
Yeah.
So they ain't got no allegiance to Steichen, no allegiance to Ballard, nothing.
Nothing.
So really playing for your job this year.
Yeah, I that's crazy, man. That is crazy that they are at this point already. Season even hadn't started, and you at this point with Daniel Jones as your starter. Anyway, Colts fan.
What I don't understand is, and going back to Anthony Richardson's agent, he's making it seem as if like they're in the driver's seat. He was like, we're not sure if we're going to be with them for much longer after making this. Like, dude,
where are you going?
Look, you're not going to be there if and when the Colts decide to cut you. Okay. But it's not, they're not in the driver's seat. They're not making any decisions here. If he does somehow miraculously turn this around, then he's going to get franchise tagged. And they're going to, work out a deal and make him the franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, he has done nothing to show that he's a franchise caliber player at that position.
No.
Dude, you tapped yourself out for a breather in the middle of a drive as the quarterback. You're acting as if you're a running back.
That's comical, man.
No.
Yeah, that's comical. Yeah.
To add salt to the wound, right? You got what? Probably 6 top 2, top 3 round quarterbacks coming out of college this coming year. So if he doesn't right the ship really fast, where's he gonna get traded? if he gets released based upon what's happened the last 2 and now at that point last 3 years, is going to take a chance on him versus the unproven talent coming out of college. Like, this is not a good time to be struggling as a young NFL quarterback. I'm just going to put it in those terms.
Yeah.
This is not the year to be struggling as a young NFL quarterback, because you might not get a second chance, but all the young talent supposed to be coming into the league next year.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
QB3 at best, on a team at best, is what I see. So if that happens, you going from this to a 40-year-old quarterback in Cleveland. Cleveland has officially announced that Joe Flacco will be the starter day one in Cleveland as their quarterback. Most likely, I see in Cleveland that they're going to take 4 quarterbacks. Cleveland put themselves in this situation again. We're talking about teams where you put yourself in a situation where you have a 40-year-old quarterback that is starting. This dude was playing with Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis been retired. And this dude is your starting quarterback day one. Okay, man. Look, this is ridiculous. So you got Joe Flacco, you got the 2 rookies in Shador and Dylan Gabriel, and then you got another quarterback who hadn't even played. I mean, Kenny Pickett hadn't even played. So I don't know. And do you put him on the PUP list? Because if you put him on the PUP list, then that's 6 weeks. You hadn't played. He nursing a hamstring. You see Doc with your guy, Justin Jefferson. He just came. It was 28 days for him nursing his hamstring. So come on. I mean, so now one of your rookies is going to be the 2nd string quarterback in Cleveland, and then you're going to have your 3rd string. Kenny Pickett is going to be the 4th until he could move his way, get healthy, or move his way back up. This is again, Cleveland. You put yourself in this situation. Why? I just don't get it. I don't know.
I wonder if they, at the beginning of this offseason, thought somehow Kenny Pickett would have been the answer. I wonder about that. And if they did, that makes me question their decision-making skills even more, because Kenny Pickett hasn't shown like anything, even when he was a starter with the Steelers.
Right.
He came in. Did he play any games for the Eagles? Did Hurts get hurt? Did he have to come in?
He came in. Yeah, he played a little bit, and he was shaky at best. He was.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't look good.
So I don't know why they brought him in. There are a lot of other quarterbacks. Well, I won't say a lot, but there's a handful of other quarterbacks they could have come in, even if they wanted a stopgap situation or try to retool someone who they think they can fix, who has some promise, like a Zach Wilson, someone along those lines. They didn't do that. And then to go ahead and just draft 2 quarterbacks in the lower round, one very high profile quarterback that now puts you in a position where you can't really cut him. Even if he shows just a glimmer of promise, then you're gonna have the Tebow effect. It's gonna spiral out of control. So yeah, you're right. They put themselves in this position, not a really good position to be in, because you have 4 quarterbacks, but you don't have a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it all shakes out. Somehow they luck out and one of them come up and shows to be, someone that is not just an adequate starter, but, like a diamond in the rough. But you got a lot of people hoping that that's going to be Shador. If it is, kudos to them. I mean, to him. But right now, it still doesn't look like they got a tried and true guy for the season.
Yeah, it's up in there.
And the fun part about all this is they got 2 first-round picks in the draft in 2026. So they ain't loyal to any of those dudes right now. Right? Flacco going to be 41. Pickett going to be another year Pickett. Right? And then between Shador and Dylan Gabriel, it's like, hey, if we can get ourselves a really great quarterback in the draft, don't be surprised if Cleveland drafts another quarterback next year. Right? If no one shows out.
That would be crazy.
And just like the Colts, though, I mean, both the GM and the head coach for the Browns, who's to say that they're going to be around to really take advantage and partake of those 2, first round picks next season?
Yeah.
I think they coach it. He's what's his name? The Browns coach. He's coaching for his
Stefanski.
life.
Stefanski.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah,
Stefanski. He's coaching for his life too.
yeah, yeah. He is. He
At
is.
some point, enough is enough, right?
Yeah,
So
I
Two-time
agree.
coach of the year.
two-time coach
Two-time
of the
NFL coach of the year.
ridiculous.
Boy, that's crazy. That's crazy right there.
Two
That is
times.
ridiculous.
He got more. He got more awards than McVay.
That's crazy, man.
Yep.
That speaking of that, with this last game that they played, and Dylan Gabriel played in this last game. I think he looked good, had some good flashes there. Moving the offense. Again, second team. Whatever. But looked good overall. However, there was one pick in that game where he was throwing to the sideline. It was two receivers. I don't know. One of the receivers must have run the wrong route because there was no spacing at all. I mean, they were like in the same, right there, right next to each other. So somebody ran the wrong route. In that instance, and I know he's a rookie, so he'll learn from this. In that instance, just throw the ball away, right? Because it's like, where could you put that, right?
No.
Where's that going to go?
Sorry to cut you off, Links, but
Yeah.
that's not how that works. And I know Doc could talk to this, right? But as a quarterback, when you have to play, sometimes the coach, like your coach, you got to throw it to the spot. It's the wide receiver's job to be there, okay? And if you look at that play, even though there was two guys there and one was probably not supposed to be there, your guy walked in between both of those receivers
Mm-hmm.
and snatched the ball.
Yep.
Not one of those receivers worked for the ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
That pick was not on Gabriel. Like one of them, at least knock it down, right? So it wasn't like it was an errant throw. It wasn't like it was uncatchable. They literally just did not go for the ball.
The defender wanted more than the receivers.
Right. So when you go to the film,
Yeah.
right? And Doc, you played some quarterback. The coach is gonna look at the quarterback like, you did your job. That's what you were supposed to do. Receivers, what the hell? What's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah.
How you let that happen?
Really, really good receiver coaches will stress coming back to the ball, right? So no one can cut in between, right? And so if the guy's waiting for the ball to come and the defender wants it, they're gonna jump it, right?
Yeah.
But if you want your quarterback to protect the ball, right? But like if the play is designed to go a certain way and someone runs the wrong route, you got to throw the ball where the ball's supposed to be, and then the coach is going to go and ream that person out for the wrong route, right?
Yeah.
But if you decide to throw based upon that wrong route when the other person's supposed to be open, or they run something else and that it goes haywire, that's on you for your poor decision making.
Yeah.
So the coach is going to look on tape and be like, hey, everyone did their job except this one person. This one person got to get better. But if you start trying to make adjustments for them messing up, and now you throw something else where it wasn't supposed to go that way because that guy did something else, or he runs a different route, and you throw that different route, and it doesn't turn out well, two folks gonna hear it. So yeah.
But check this out. Can't you still throw that ball out of bounds? You live another day. You're not throwing this ball. I mean, I know you're throwing it a timing route. You're throwing this, your receiver needs to be there, right? But if you see this, and from what I saw, how much space did they have? I get your point, Lee, where you said they could have bat the ball down. They could have did something, come back to the ball, exactly what you're supposed to do, right? And he was expecting that to happen. At least hit it down or go for it or do something. My man did burst between both of them, threw them to the side, and caught the ball, right? And it was like they didn't even want it. Did he? I know he's throwing the ball based off the play. Did he have time to throw it out and say, these dudes they're not even looking. Let me just throw this out of bounds.
It's easy to say that, right?
Right.
But you have to, I think, and this is where I want to show some grace to all quarterbacks. When you're practicing these plays, it becomes repetitious. Okay? It's like snap, 1, 2, you there. Snap, 1, 2, that's the spot. That's why it's so good to get get a read on the defense. What coverages are they showing you? And that lets you know what spots should be open. Okay? For all intents and purposes, that spot was open. Two things happened. One, receiver didn't come back for the ball, and two, an extra receiver was there that shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of times when these quarterbacks are throwing, I mean, everything is happening so fast. The rush is coming. Sometimes, in order to make a play work, they have less protection, right? So that it frees up maybe even an extra guy. Okay. And then the quarterback, knowing that, knows that he can only hold the ball for like 1.5 seconds.
True.
So the ball has to go to the spot. I'm not saying necessarily that that was the case, but you got a rookie quarterback playing who threw the ball where he was supposed to throw it. It was a good ball. You had two guys there. One guy didn't come for the ball,
Right.
and
Right.
the other guy wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. Now, to your point, you do have some quarterbacks who they don't throw on rhythm. They don't throw on timing. They would have probably seen that and do some razzle
Admit it.
dazzle, throw it away, or make
got
another
you.
play.
Yeah.
That's not Dylan Gabriel's game.
I
That's not
got
a
you.
lot of quarterbacks' game.
Right.
Only
right,
a
right.
handful of quarterbacks can do that.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
So yeah,
Good point.
to that point, some quarterbacks will see two dudes there, just don't like it, and throw it away. Right?
Right.
Looking at the clip, wide receiver number 16 comes across, then he slows down, then he speeds up, and he slows down again, then he speeds up again. As the tight end goes and makes this out route, I think Dylan Gabriel was throwing to the tight end because the tight end's open, and it's not the tight end's defender that makes the interception.
Right.
It's number 16's defender who cuts in between both dudes because he's chasing, and the tight end thinks the ball's for the wide receiver because he sees the wide receiver coming across. So I think Dylan's throwing to the short guy. He slows down thinking it's for the other dude. The other dude's already kind of past the play, and that defender cuts in between the middle. Ideally, the tight end looks for it, but honestly, ideally, Dylan Gabriel just sees this like over time. I think he's going to be like, yeah, this never ends well for me, and just air mills it.
Yep.
Just gives a fan a souvenir, and then it's like, okay, it's 2nd and 10, right? But yeah, I think it was for the tight end. The tight end's looking to see who's near him, hearing footsteps in a good way. But now that he sees that he slows down, that defender's hungry, sees the ball, takes it, and goes. But that defender should never been there because that wide receiver either came in too close or the tight end took it out too far. So they end up meshing instead of being 5 yards apart.
Gotcha. So look for that at the end of that play. And when the defender catches the ball, Gabriel runs off the field and doesn't attempt to make that tackle. Should he?
Ooh, Paul,
No.
what?
What? Okay, so again, you
I'm
got
playing
Dylan
devil's
Gabriel.
advocate here.
No,
right.
but it's a fair question. You have Dylan Gabriel who just missed time,
Yeah.
right, because he was hurt.
Yeah.
And then he saw Shador light it up against Carolina. And now what you're saying is that he should go out of his way in the preseason game because guys weren't doing what they were supposed to do and sacrifice his body for a frivolous tackle attempt?
In a
Yeah.
preseason game.
You got to do
that's-
something, man.
No. If he was my quarterback, I'd be like, well, you better lay down. Sit down. Like, why? Why in a preseason game would I want my quarterback to do that?
Yeah.
The game doesn't mean anything. If it's a regular season game, especially if it's a game that has something on the line, yeah, you need to stop that from happening.
Yeah.
Not no preseason game. No.
Preseason.
No.
No.
Who cares? I mean, like literally, really, who cares if that defender if he scores a touchdown?
Yeah.
I would look at you and be like, what in Andrew Luck are you doing?
Right. That's what messed up Andrew Luck's whole career. Doing
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. So okay. So last thing on this, I know coming up, they got your Rams coming up this week. Are you guys playing your starters?
So no, we're still not going to play the starters.
No starters,
Right?
okay.
We don't play the starters at all during the preseason. But I
Gotcha.
do want to talk about the Rams.
Yeah.
And I've been trying not to talk about this. So throughout all of preseason, up until just yesterday, Matthew Stafford has not been practicing. Right?
Yeah.
So he's been dealing with a back injury, even to the point where they had to give him an epidural.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Right.
serious.
So I only heard about the epidural part this week. So then that let me know exactly, okay, this is like really serious.
Yeah, that's serious.
So now, at least for me as a fan, I'm concerned because now he's just now getting to the point where he can practice, let alone I know he's not going to play in the preseason game, but he wouldn't have been able to play in the preseason game anyway. So my concern is like when the season starts and defenders, they test that back, what's going to happen? Because back conditions, those injuries, they tend to be pretty severe if it's not the right type of back injury. So and what also makes me cause for pause a little bit here is, he wanted more guarantees, okay, going into this off season. And I'm like, why are you're haggling for more money and more guarantees? And I mean, you banged all the way up.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. I think the Rams, we're in a good spot, at least for next season, to pick up a quarterback, which is, I think they saw this coming down the pipe. They saw that he wasn't, all the way healthy. They want to try to eke out another season out of him and maybe make a run if he can stay healthy. But right now, I don't see him at this point being able to survive 17 games. I'm hoping that maybe somehow we kind of can do without him during the beginning stages of the season, and then we have him for the latter part and make a run.
Mhm. Yeah.
But that's just, I don't know if that's just wishful thinking.
Yeah. I mean, that epidural, getting the epidural is no joke.
No,
I'm talking about you can't. Yeah, I mean, that's like feeling nothing.
I know.
And for him to have that at this point, yeah, that's very concerning.
Yeah.
Has this been an ailing thing that he's been dealing with or did this just crop up?
This kind of just cropped up because, I mean, well, see, the thing is with Matthew Stafford, you never know.
Yeah,
That dude, like, I mean, he could have been dealing with this for years and
that's true.
just, never said anything. I mean, outwardly into the public, I'm pretty sure the Rams would know. But he deals with and plays with injuries consistently.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, just don't let his wife get on the podcast and say anything. Just keep her off there.
yeah, please.
So all right. So I mean, we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. Trey Hendrickson, Micah Parsons. They're still in contract disputes. Trey Hendrickson, from what I am reading, they're saying he's untradeable. Virtually untradeable. Why? Why is this?
If someone is untradeable, that means that someone is so valuable that no one can give you anything to offload them. Meaning, also, whatever they're asking for, you're going to pay, right? So on one hand, they don't want to treat him as if he's untradeable by compensating him accordingly. But on the opposite hand, they don't want to give him up for
Right.
anything less than a king's ransom.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the
Go ahead.
Bengals being the Bengals.
Yeah.
Go Doc.
No, this so they're saying the amount of years they're cool with Hendrickson and the Bengals, the amount of money total, they seem to be pretty agreed upon. It's the guaranteed part, right?
Mm-hmm.
And remember, they signed they signed Joe Burrow to the big contract a couple years ago. They just signed Jamar Chase and T. Higgins with
Mhm.
decent sized guaranteed contracts.
Right.
That's part of the deal. Every time you sign that guaranteed, that money got to go to escrow. You got to write a check, put that in the bank, and it got to sit, right? The Bengals ain't got that kind of money. To them be signing another guy for another $80 million in a 4-year, $120 million contract. They don't have an extra $80 million just lying around. That's why traditionally the Bengals have given you guaranteed money the first year, and they don't like to guarantee past the first year. They pay as you go, right? They live in paycheck to paycheck. They ain't got a whole bunch of money just sitting, right? Because their money, the family money, comes from the Bengals, right? They didn't make their money doing something else and then buy a team as, for kicks and giggles. Like this the business, right? So that's going to be a hard time trying to figure out how to get that guaranteed money to the point that it's close to market value, even though they're far away from market value, when you don't have those coffers just to kick in an extra $20-30 million. Now, whether they didn't think ahead or they thought, he'll play team ball, this is the situation we're in now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So help me understand this, Doc. The NFL, you got all these teams, you got 32 teams, and they're all, getting evenly distributed shares of the TV deals that are coming in, right? From all the networks into the league, right?
Yes.
Okay. So everyone's getting the same amount of money from that deal, which it's a lot of money. I don't know exactly the dollar amount, but it's a lot of money that's coming in. And then on top of that, that also plays into the salary cap, and the salary cap goes up a percentage based on the deals that they continue to incur year after year. right, from these
Yes.
deals. So if everyone's getting the same amount of money, shouldn't a percentage of that money go towards player salary?
I want to say it's 51%.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
The problem is, if I sign you to, here's the difference. If I sign you to a 5-year, $150 million deal, nothing guaranteed, right? Let's just say every time I get the TV money, that $30 million that year goes to your salary, right? If I sign you to a 5-year, $150 million deal, fully guaranteed, I got to take $150 million right then and there and put that in the bank for you for the next 4 years. So if something happened to me, car wreck, whatever, the league folds, whatever, that money's sitting there for you for the next 4 years on top of that, right?
Right.
So when you have, I think you have teams where they're making money hand over fist, merchandising, revenue at the stadium.
Cowboys.
Right? So they got deep pockets and they can just pull from the reserves and put that and then wait for the money to come in year after year with the TV deal to fill it.
Mm-hmm.
But your Jacksonville Jaguars, your Cincinnati Bengals, for some reason your Chicago Bears don't seem to be able to do that, right? Like, and they didn't make their money from Home Depot. They didn't make their money from Flying J, right? They didn't make their money from oil money.
Right.
The team is the money.
Right.
So they don't have the deep pockets to pull from something else to fill in the void until the money comes in 2-3 years later. That ends up being the situation where you have these franchises where the franchise, the football team, is how the family makes their money.
Right.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, because I heard with the whole T. Higgins thing, I think none of it was guaranteed, or at least nothing was guaranteed after the first year.
I think the T. Higgins one might have been either the T. Higgins or the Jamar Chase was like one of the few times they've actually guaranteed past the first year.
I think it was Jamar Chase, not T. Higgins.
But now that's the issue with Trey Hendrickson. He's like, oh, y'all broke the rule for him.
Right.
Why won't you break the rule for me? I did lead the league in sacks the last 2 years. It ain't like I've not been producing, right? So that's the problem, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I would give him guarantees after 1 year either with his age. To be honest. I mean, to be fair, I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would. I would give him a big contract. I'd make him, comparable to where TJ Watts and all those guys are. But, at his age, and to give him a guarantee for, I wonder how many years he wants. Does he want 2 or 3? Do we know?
If I was him, I was looking for 4.
No.
Yeah, it's not
This
good.
is the last one, man. This is the last big. This is the last big pay.
You're not getting that.
It's not
This
gonna
is the
happen.
last. I just led the league in sacks, bro.
Yeah, but if you were 27, 28, then
Right. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
not at 30.
Yeah. No, that's not
At the
gonna happen.
most I could see him getting is two years guaranteed on a 4-year contract, something.
Okay, yeah, we're saying the same thing. Sorry, 4-year contract, yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do more than 2 years guaranteed.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I'm him, I'm trying to get them 2 years like fully guaranteed.
Right.
If I'm him,
Right. Yeah.
right, and that may be part of that conflict. So yeah.
Well, I know Howie did make a call to Cincinnati for Trey.
We do this.
So
Oh,
I'm not gonna take debate links. I'm not doing it this time. No. I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
I was trying to pull something off, man, but I don't think it's gonna work. I mean, I know, it's just the numbers just not gonna work for us. So Trey just gonna stay there. But Howie did make a call. Just inquiring just to see what
we got Georgia players and we got Alabama players. Which ones y'all want? We got Georgia players and we got Alabama players.
We got both, man. We got both.
Is this legit? Did he really?
Yeah, he
inquire?
did. He did. He inquired. I mean, the Eagles was
GM.
the Eagles was in. Yeah, that's a good GM. That's
a good GM.
all you just doing is just putting feelers out there.
Just
Seeing what is what. But yeah, it was too rich. It was too rich.
If I was any other team, right, I would have Howie's name and contact logged on my phone,
Yeah.
just so that when I pick it up, I could say no and then hang up.
Oh man. Yeah.
I wouldn't even let him get a word up. Nope.
Oh man. Yeah. He tried. Didn't work, man. Didn't work. So we'll see. He probably can get something. But same thing going on. Micah Parsons. From what Adam Schefter said, that Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, is headed for a divorce. I mean, is this again just a fabricated Dallas soap opera to stay in front of the crowd?
Jerry gave you the playbook.
Yeah.
He let the cat out the bag and he gave the exact script. It is a 365-day soap opera.
Soap opera.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the thing is, nothing new under the sun, right? It's not like he hasn't gone through this exact same situation before.
Right. Yeah.
Emmitt Smith. He missed the first 2 games of the season.
Yeah. Crazy. That's ridiculous.
And you know what? I bet this what Jerry's gonna say. Well, with Emmitt, we missed the first 2 games and we went on to win the Super Bowl that year.
Yep.
Watch.
Yeah.
Watch.
Yeah. That's yeah. Anyway, I can't talk about them too much. I can't talk. I've given him too much.
I feel for Micah though, because I know Micah. He's not with the politics. He's
Right.
not with the he doesn't want to deal with any of this.
Especially when it's your money.
It's his money. It's his money, and he's earned the money. And on top of that, you want to win. Now, I mean, he hasn't done any practicing, right? Like he's been there. But
no practicing.
And like I told you guys this before, especially when it comes to these with these defensive players, when they miss off-season workouts, and then they try to get ramped up, that's when like injuries happen.
Takes a toll.
Yep. Yeah. That's serious, man. Yeah. I hope they don't get it figured out.
Even if they do it, I don't think it's going to be.
Ain't nothing happening. Right.
Ain't nothing going to happen.
I agree.
Ain't nothing going to happen.
I agree. So, okay, Chicago Bears had a good drive, man. They had a good drive. Caleb Williams went down. Offense looks really good. Chicago Bears fans are hyped. They are ready. This is the year.
The 25 Bears.
This
25 Bears.
Bringing it back. 1985, bringing it back. In 2026, Chicago Bears. What's this hype all about?
In the words of the famous Lee Corso, not so fast, my friends. Right? Not so fast. Right. So here's the thing. I watched the drive.
Yeah.
Everything was vanilla, right? On both sides. The Bills didn't even score a point, right? That whole game. Yeah. They put out a big fat 0, right? But even with the Bears, I was curious to see, okay, what sets are they going to run out of? What are they going to have Caleb doing? Like, how are they going to take advantage of the limited time they're going to put him on the field for this preseason game? And really, everything was out of the shotgun. And that was a little disappointing because what I was reading in the reports during training camp is that they were going to have him under center more, do a little bit more play action. Not to say that they're not going to do that. I'm pretty sure that Ben Johnson doesn't want to show his hand, right? He doesn't want to let anything leak in terms of what their strategy is going to be. But those are the things that I think Caleb needs to practice the most. And I'm pretty sure that that's what they're doing, but it would have been good to be able to see how he executes out of those sets. So at this point, I really don't know. Like, yeah, he did some pitch and catch. He threw, he laced a couple of them to the tight end, both of them, Komet and Loveland. And then on the touchdown, the wide receiver caught a mid-range pass and took it, 20 yards, yards after the catch to the end zone. So, I mean, I can't really qualify how good or bad the offense is going to be based off of what they shown, and then especially based off of the vanilla defense that the Bills blatantly played during that game. So if I'm a Chicago Bears fan, I wouldn't get too wrapped up into it just yet. Unfortunately, you're going to have to wait until week 1 to see what happens when real ball starts.
Yeah. Any take on this, Doc? In your division?
No. I think, well... I'll worry about the Bears if I have to worry about the Bears, right? It's the Bears, right? I think the more interesting thing was that the Bills playing vanilla defense and vanilla offense gave up 38 and didn't score anything. Now it don't count, but it makes you wonder, right? Hey, are they just not crisp yet? Like, what's going on that the seconds didn't do well against the seconds and the third team didn't do well against the third team? but my guess is they will be ready come week 1, right? But it's
It
yeah,
it really looked, and you know, I don't want to make it seem as if I'm downplaying what the Bears did. I'm not. That's not what I'm trying to do. But it really looked as if the Bears just kind of mailed that one in. Not the Bears. I mean the Bills.
got you.
Right. Not the players, but I'm talking about from a play calling perspective. The coaches, they were not coaching to even try to win that game.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah.
They just had those guys out there and be like, do something. That's what it looked like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, Tyson Badgett, right? The backup quarterback, which I like him. I think
Yep.
I think he's an underrated quarterback. I think he got qualities like, you know, like a Joe Montana, right?
Yep.
You know.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
How he navigates the pocket,
Don't do
right?
that, man.
How he
Don't do
navigates the pocket. Yeah. Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, I liked him. I told you guys, I liked him out of college.
Yeah.
And what he showed in this game, just based off of he was playing under center, he did some play action, he did some rollouts, bootleg plays, and made some really good throws. So I like him. I think he did a really good job. Caleb only had like a drive or two, so I just don't know yet how that's gonna play out.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't. I looked at it. I looked at it a little bit. I looked at the drive. I didn't look at the rest of the game. I too. It just looked it, and I agree. It didn't look like the Bills were doing anything. I mean, it was like they weren't even trying to even tackle. Really, it was just like you said, just go out there again. I think the jury is still out, obviously, on what that looks like for the Bears. So we'll see if they I think it's going to be better than last year for sure. I think so. I definitely could say that. I mean, because you got to go up from there.
Yeah.
From last year, you got to go somewhere. You got to go up. You can't go back. So with Ben Johnson being there, a little bit more structure. Caleb coming along and playing in that system. I expect some better. But they start off looking good and then end up tanking and at the end. But we'll see. This may be a different Bears. So Donnie, y'all better watch out, man. They coming.
Doc don't seem bothered at all.
I'll get worried if I need to get worried.
You look like how the Bills was, man.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys, because the Bears they're vying for a new stadium right now, right? Right. Yeah.
Indoor? They staying outdoor? You think? Probably most likely.
I think the new one may be a dome. I think what they're trying to get is enclosed.
They want a Super Bowl. They want to host Super Bowls and stuff. Yeah. I on that topic real quick, because the Eagles were around the same. They put a survey out to the season ticket holders, and was like, we're looking at a couple different scenarios. We want to host Super Bowls. And we're looking at either a dome, or we're looking at a retractable, or we're looking at something that could. So it looks like a lot of these teams are wanting to explore that. But I like the elements, man. I like the elements. I mean, look, it just brings a different feel to the game, and you never know what you're gonna get: snow, rain, sleet. The ball's slippery. All of these different factors. I think you got to have some of that, in the NFL. But it looks like everybody they want to host Super Bowls, and so they want to go into domes.
Money.
That's what it's all about.
Yep.
That's what it's all about.
Because it was good the couple of years that Minnesota was outdoors playing at the University of Minnesota Stadium before they built the U.S. Bank, right? But you've had those teams, the Philadelphias, the New England Patriots, the Buffalo Bills, right? Pittsburgh Steelers, Green Bay Packers, where you just have those elements, right? Chicago Bears, and then you've got Minnesota, Detroit Lions. Nice dome, was all nice and comfortable, 72 degrees, and but it's the same reason when you get to college, when they started doing the whole college football playoff system, that the Cotton Bowl was out because it was outdoors at the old Cotton Bowl. Then they got smart, work with Jerry. Now it's in Jerry's world, a part of the mix, right? So
Yeah.
once you talk regular season, everyone loves the weathers and the elements. Playoffs, everyone loves the elements. They love the snow, all that stuff. But come championship game,
Yeah.
they want it comfy. That's corporate.
Yeah.
That's the corporate celebration, and and so folks want a piece of that pie, and so they're willing to forego the advantage of the elements to try to get a little bit more of those corporate dollars.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the last Super Bowl that was outdoors, it was at MetLife Stadium.
Giants,
It
Jets.
was.
Yeah, with
Yep.
Giants. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
And
Yeah.
they thankfully had decent weather. But
Mhm.
even when Dallas had it, it was like snowstorm. And
Right.
it was just
That is
really
true.
difficult to go around around the city. But of course, the game itself,
Yeah.
comfy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Well, I guess that makes sense. That where it's all about the green, man. It's all about the money. Yep. So, all right, man. I think we covered some good ground here, man.
Yep.
Some good
We hit
ground
all the
today.
points.
nice.
Yep. So, all
Nice.
right. Well,
All right,
gentlemen,
All right.
see
you
y'all on
later
the
in the
next
week.
one, man.
take care.
All right.
All right,
All right.
see y'all later.